Yay Media Group.
Hello, I'm Trey. This is Zack, and this is your weekly dose of BS. Stephanie's out again this week. She's on her fun train. So I have my co-host back by popular demand, Mr. Zachary Luker.
Hello, I've never done so much BS before in my life.
Yes, you have. Well, thanks for being here, Zachary.
You know, it's a pleasure to be here, always.
Stephanie reminded me that she had another trip. I was just in Montana with her, and she has 1, 2, 3 more trips before she even gets home. And if you know Stephanie, that a year ago would have been her personal hell.
I remember last year she was like, oh yeah, we're going for 2 weeks and then I'm not leaving the house ever again. And I feel like I haven't seen her in months.
All summer. This might be our podcast now. I don't know.
She's having a hot girl summer.
She is. We were doing our hot girl walks in Montana every day. She's like, what's a hot girl walk? I was like, it's just where we walk.
And get hot. And
yeah, and we sweat.
And how were those? They looked like they were.
Oh my gosh. So there's this, they live on a mountain in Montana. Their house is on a mountain in Montana. And when it's not ski season, you can hike up these mountains. So we did. But hiking a blue and skiing a blue are just as difficult because, well, I don't know what the percentage incline that would be on a treadmill, but it's got to be at least like 25. It was awful. And so one of the days, we were hiking to Jesus every day. There's a big Jesus statue up the top of this mountain, and we would walk to see Jesus. And every time we wanted to turn around, we were like, no, we're doing this for the Lord. So we would keep going. And then halfway through the trip, I was like, hey, we should just walk down the neighborhood because they live at the top of the mountain. So I was like, if we walk down the neighborhood, that seems a little bit easier. Oh my gosh. I've never lost so much weight on a trip in my life. Usually I come back at least 2 pounds heavier. I think I lost 10 pounds.
Well, I was curious when you said that because you have to drive that every time to go up and down. And it's straight uphill.
Because we drive
as you said, the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I know how far it is. Like whenever we enter the neighborhood on the map, it's like a little over a mile. So we went all the way down and we were walking. And Stephanie was like, do you want to turn around? Like, this is one of my turnaround points. Like, if you want to go back. And I was like, no, this is easy. Not realizing that we were going downhill the whole time. The hard part was once we turned around. Oh my gosh, I about died. But it was great. I wish Dallas had a mountain. If Dallas had a mountain, we'd be set.
Okay, yeah. That'd be an interesting change of events around here.
We also landed yesterday, and I felt like we landed right in the middle of Satan's asshole with this weather here. It was like 70s and gorgeous, and then this is like 107 and miserable.
It's been hot here.
Can't do it.
We started out with a great summer,
we did,
but
and
we have now entered the back half of
this part.
The heat.
Yeah. So whenever we left, I knew that there were an unknown number of children flying with me, and the day before, I found out that it was only 3. Thank goodness. But I get to the airport, and Stephanie has already arranged, the boys were getting dropped off there, so I was coordinating with her brother-in-law on, what time. Cool, we get there. Airport's packed. DFW has been an absolute mess since 2004. So we get there, and I look at the boys. I was like, do you have pre-check? And they were like, no. And I was like, oh, this is my nightmare. So we get in the regular security line, which I'm already just, not thrilled to be in. And honestly, it was about as long as pre-check, that's a whole nother set of beef I have to deal with later. So we're in line, and it's a long line. And about halfway through, sitting in that security line, I looked at Cruz and I said, do you have your plane ticket? And he was like, no. What do you mean, no? Because I don't have your flight information. And then he had a friend with him. I don't have his friend's flight information. I asked Chance. Chance is like, I have my ticket. I was like, where'd you get your ticket from? I'm mind blown. So we have to get out of this long-ass line and go and I can't even do this on a kiosk because they're minors. I have to go stand in another line. So we divided and conquered. We made the plane. But I was like, I don't know if I can travel with children that aren't mine. A whole mess and a half.
I'm proud of you for getting in general with them.
Yeah.
Well, because you had to go through security
this morning,
with them, right?
I was thinking, what are we going to talk about on the podcast? And I was like, oh, well, Zach and I both got home from a work trip. And I was like, mine wasn't even a work trip. It just felt like it.
Yes, I did just get back from Hawaii.
Zach went to Hawaii.
Yes.
I traveled with 3 children.
And by the time this comes out, I made it home safe and sound before the tsunami hit.
Yeah, thank goodness. Barely missed that.
Yeah, literally. I was supposed to come back the day that it hit, but for some reason said, no, I'm going to go back a day early. And
well, thank goodness you did. Were you so bored without me there?
We talked about this last night a little bit. Yes.
And I want to talk about it again.
Okay. The first 2 days I was there, I was a little bored. Yes. Mainly because I was there for a work trip, but I myself was traveling alone, and the time change definitely hit me on the way there. So
you were trying to say everything, but because you weren't there.
Exactly. Had Trey been there, it would have been.
It would have been more fun. I don't love Hawaii. Actually, I don't know if I even really like Hawaii.
Okay.
Because I think it is a long flight, and it's
a very long flight.
Way too expensive to be an American Mexico.
Yes.
And the Hawaiians are probably raging right now. But that's just how I feel. It's so expensive. There is no reason for me to sit on a flight for 6 hours to get the same tan that I can get an hour and a half away.
Yeah. I mean, me by myself, there was not a single meal that I had that was not less than $100 as a solo person.
And that's why I'm so glad that you went on a work trip.
Yes, that was very convenient.
I went for a friend's wedding a few years ago, and I remember every drink at the hotel bar was like $24, the pool bar. And I was like, okay, so we're going to have like
that's just a
2 a day.
Cocktail, yeah.
Yeah, that was like a vodka Red Bull. And there was one guy, he was trashed every morning. I'm like, dude, you're blowing $1,000 on alcohol. How much was your little pineapple drink?
Yeah, so I ordered the Mai Tai at the resort, and that alone was $22. But then I decided to splurge and upgrade to a fresh pineapple.
A hollowed out pineapple.
A hollowed out pineapple for $14, bringing my total to $36. So $36 for a Mai Tai. Was it good? Yes. Was it $36 good? The jury's still out, you know?
$14.
It was the only Mai Tai I had there. We'll put it that way.
Well, glad that you learned your lesson, that not inviting me is wrong.
Look, and that was my first time to Hawaii. Would I go back? Yes. Would I make it an annual trip? No. There were so many families on the plane. Oh, this is our 10th year or 12th year going. And I'm like, I think it's beautiful. I do not think that Hawaii is a place that I would go just for a beach vacation or a pool vacation. Mexico's a lot closer. And at that point, then all-inclusive could, render to be better. But
does Hawaii even have an all-inclusive? I don't think so.
Not if they do, not many. But I do think Hawaii has a lot more of a. You go out to do excursions. You go sightseeing, so you can hike. I did take the road to Hana because I was in Maui, and it was absolutely beautiful on the way back. It is for anybody who hasn't been there, it is a 3-hour drive from the side of the island that I was on, but it is the windiest road ever, and all the bridges are just one lane, so you're going down a huge curve that you can't see around, and then you just have to pray to God that nobody's on the other side as you trek through and it was raining on my way there too, so that wasn't fun, but the way back was great. I put the top down and was just cruising through the mountains. It was beautiful.
That sounds miserable. That is my literal idea of hell.
All in all, had a great time. Glad to be back. Glad to be safe.
That's my worst nightmare. Okay, question. Do you get plane anxiety now?
No, I still don't, thankfully.
I have traveled since my parents worked in the airlines, so we would always, every weekend, go somewhere. Just go to Chicago to a museum, or just we would always travel. I feel like lately I've had plane anxiety. Yeah. Because, I don't blame you. They're catching on fire. They're dropping from the sky. They're doing little somersaults.
Yeah, I mean, our good friend had landed in Denver, and then a few hours later, I saw that plane that had to evacuate because
it caught on fire.
Caught on fire, yeah. The runway at Denver.
The morning that I was leaving for Montana, I got a news alert along with my hey, it's time to check in, that a plane crashed in Russia. I was like, cool, yeah, right, let's go to the airport. What?
Look, I am not belittling any of it or not saying that there isn't a problem whatsoever. When I get on a plane, I tell myself that there are more people in the sky than we are aware of right now. The likelihood of it being me is low, and so I just have to hang on to that and keep trekking on. I'm not going to stop flying. I can't be inconvenienced by driving. So
no, same.
I have to keep flying, but no, I don't let it bother me, thankfully.
I board the flight, and then I feel out the energy in the flight. I'm like, we'll stay.
Or just not go on the vacation.
Well, there was that one plane went down. Like the Wi-Fi wasn't working. None of the electronics were working on the plane.
There's nothing more that I hate than when Wi-Fi doesn't work on a plane.
Oh, that'll fully send me into a spiral.
I was worried about that on my way to Hawaii for a second because they didn't turn it on until we got like 30 minutes into the flight for some reason. I think he just forgot to do it.
That was mine yesterday. Turn it on before we leave.
And I was like, oh, you could not keep me on here for 8 hours with no Wi-Fi. I'll lose my mind.
No. Yeah, can't do that. Okay, so Deandra Simmons is in the news this week. Did you read this?
I did not read it, but I did see it.
So she has been diagnosed with breast cancer, and I'll read you her post that she made yesterday. She said, "Today is the day. I didn't think that I would be the recipient of the care I did not think I would be recipient at the UT Southwestern Simmons Cancer Center. My uncle Harold Simmons and his foundation established almost 30 years ago, but now I have breast cancer. I am truly grateful to have such an excellent care team in place. I am the third woman on my mother's side of the family to be diagnosed with breast cancer that we know about. After today, I will add breast cancer survivor to my long list of life experiences. I look forward to telling my story to inspire others in the future. Thank you to everyone who has sent prayers and support to me and my family. We really appreciate it very much, and we love having your support." So Jeremy posted an update last night. She had, I believe it was 3 different procedures. She's doing well. She's recovering. She's just sleeping a lot, but thank goodness for hospitals like UT Southwestern, but that her uncle established that cancer center so many years ago. I knew that her mom had breast cancer a while ago, and she beat it, but that's just such a scary thing to think about. So, Deandra, we are praying for you, and we are thinking about you. I know that a lot of people have reached out in support, so I know she appreciates that. And she used to be a part of the Yay Network family, and, bravo.
Well, we love you, Deandra.
Yeah. So, baby update. Last time we talked about this. Well, actually, last time Zack was on this podcast. Was that the first time you were on this podcast?
That was the first time I was on this podcast, yeah.
Look at you reprising your role. We talked about the surrogate that we had and kind of where we were in our baby journey. I swear that same day after we recorded that episode, got a call from our surrogacy. No, not from our surrogacy agency, from our egg donor agency. And when she called me, I was like, why are you calling me? Because she usually emails me. And she called me to let me know that our egg donor was dropping out. And when I tell you, I ripped her a new asshole. Here's why. It's not their fault that this woman had very good reason to drop out, I guess. She's going through her own IVF journey. She's going to be carrying her partner's child. So she was worried that the time was just a little too close where she couldn't.
Right. Well, and I don't remember I don't remember when we recorded, but it may have been before we had the first dropout too.
No, this was.
This is before both of them?
No. We had the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was by that time, then that was our second.
Right. That was our second match. So I ripped them a new asshole because I was like, why do we have people on this platform that are not ready to give eggs? I get it's an emotional thing, but I was like, it's also an emotional thing for us. And where I was frustrated was I was like, I can rematch all day long. Little Zachary over here, he's going to get frustrated soon, and he's going to be like, you know what, we're going to take a break on this for a minute, because I know how he can get. And he hasn't been that way. He's actually been very supportive and positive. But I was like, going to piss me off if you piss him off, because that's one way that you'll piss me off. But thankfully, we rematched very quickly again with a new donor. Really, really like her. I actually got a call yesterday from our fertility clinic, and they were like, hey, your donor is amazing. And I was like, oh. So we have gotten all of her.
Love to hear it.
We've gotten 90% of her medical clearance. What has surprised you most about this whole journey of having a baby? It's the whole process.
I will say, I mean, obviously, I knew that it was very, quote unquote, labor intensive. LOL, literally. But I knew it was going to take a while to get through this kind of initial sourcing and finding somebody, and then truly moving on into actually getting the surrogate pregnant. But what has been very interesting, and I do feel like I have kind of mixed feelings about it, is all of the testing that goes into it. I will say I love how much testing is going into it, because Jack and Jill go up a hill and neither of them know what the other person has.
We know so much.
I know so much about myself now. I know so much about Trey now, and am about to know so much about this egg donor and the surrogate, maybe more than I want to know. But, you know, it was very interesting to get our genetic testing back, and of the 400 different genetic screenings that you go through, we both came back with one each.
We're a carrier. So they test you for like 400 different things. And it's like the big ones.
Yeah, take you to biology real quick.
And so we each tested as a carrier for one thing. They were different. And really, we just want to make sure that our egg donor is not a carrier for one of the things that we are a carrier for. So the likelihood is so small. But what were you a carrier for?
I was trying to pull it up because I want to make sure I say it correctly.
I'm going to say mine incorrectly, and let me tell you what mine is. Mine is basically, I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't really paying attention. But where she caught my attention was, I was like, what does all this mean?
Don't think that might have been a critical...
Well, if our egg donor
we're looking at DNA and you come back and you don't think it's critical, okay.
If our egg donor has it, then I'll be like, ooh, hey, red flag. But I don't. If she doesn't, then it's not an issue. But basically, here's what happens. If I have a baby with someone that has the same whatever thing that I have, that I'm a carrier for, there is a 25% chance. I don't think I told you this. There's a 25% chance that we could have a child that has genitalia that is different from what they look like they would have. Like, we could have a girl with a wee-wee. And I said, what? I was shocked. And I said, is that my gay gene? Is that why I'm gay?
That's why you're gay.
But you don't have that, so I don't think it's the gay gene. But I was like...
Yeah,
what do you have?
I am a carrier for what is known as SCID, which is a severe combined immunodeficiency disorder, which is a rare genetic disorder that weakens the child's immune system.
That sounds way worse than mine.
Well, so here, okay, if you were to ask me my true, honest feedback about this whole process, it has been great. We are still pushing through. We are all very happy. I want to preface all of that. However, when we go into these, we're deep into this testing phase right now. They are sending the results and then scheduling your consultation a week after the results are posted to your portal. Please do not post results to my portal that start with the word severe and then make me sit there for a week and have to just be like, hey, chat, what does this mean? Hey, Google, what does this mean?
Because Zack Googled.
Yeah. And again, I went through biology. I understand the difference between dominance and carrier, but maybe for everybody who doesn't understand as well, to kind of help you more, dominant means you fully possess that trait, or that, in this conversation, that disorder. So you actively have it, whereas carrier, it sits dormant in your cells. And if you are a biology major and I just messed that up, please don't come for me. But that is my understanding of it as of today. So I just have it in my DNA, same with Trey, but I do not actually possess, I'm not affected by this disorder. But yeah, please don't upload to my portal that I have a severe disorder and then make me sit there for a week, because that just was the longest 7 days of my life.
Yeah, he was a little mess that week.
And so all in all, same thing, 25% chance that if the egg donor had the same disorder, the child would have no immune system. In a nutshell, again, I'm very much paraphrasing that down.
But I think what's so crazy about yours is, I think yours is a little more common of a disorder. So if you...
It says the word rare in it.
Well...
Again, for a week, that I just had to sit there with that.
If you went and got a girl pregnant and she had that same disorder...
That would also be rare.
Right, because you're gay. If she had that same disorder, the likelihood of your child surviving was very slim, right?
Very slim.
Crazy.
And so again, that is why I go back to, this whole genetic testing, or all of the testing in general, has been very interesting because in a normal in a typical relationship, you're not getting into bed somebody going, hey,
about the heterosexuals.
Yeah, do you have, yes.
Oh, okay.
What genetic disorders do you have?
Normal.
This is what I have. I know. Well, that's why I corrected myself. I didn't need you to go back. I corrected myself, and then you wanted to double down on that. So anyway, in a typical heterosexual, not normal, anything is normal these days. But yeah, so you don't have that information before, you do the deed, but now we do. So it's been comforting to know these things. But so it's funny because I texted my brother and sister, and I was like, hey, have y'all ever done genetic testing before? Because now I'm just kind of curious what side this came from. And my brother responded to me, and he said, no, why'd you find out you were adopted? And I was like, LOL. No, I didn't.
We have a friend that just had a baby not too long ago, and I asked them if they did genetic testing when the baby was born, and they didn't. But I'm like, I would want to know all this stuff. Like, especially because, like, I'm going to know more about my kid than they know about themselves. Like, factually, I know all about you. And we will know 90% of our baby's physical characteristics before they're born. I think that's kind of crazy, too. They do, like, a biopsy.
Well, yeah, we have the option to, yeah.
So here's where, I feel like we are, I don't know exactly where we're at in the puzzle, but I do know that we're supposed to have eggs by end of September, early October. And then it takes about 4 weeks for the testing. It takes 2 weeks for them to like fully, bond as an embryo. And then we test the embryos. That takes about 4 weeks. That's where we learn everything. And then we pick. So we should have an egg in our surrogate by November and a positive pregnancy test, hopefully in December.
Yeah. But which is also, so we're talking about the testing. What I don't understand, and I do want to find out more. So once and correct me where I'm wrong, but once the embryo is created, then the FDA gets involved.
Yes.
And that's, look, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just confused by it.
So the FDA is like probably the biggest part of this.
Yes. And the strictest.
Yes.
Like that is where we're going to, that's a go, no go situation.
So really we have to do 2 different counseling sessions on our own. One's like a mental health eval, one's like a psych eval, and then we do a joint session with our egg donor, but it's all like FDA. Let me tell you, when we did this psych eval, they were asking us just like random questions, and we did it together, and Zack was lying. I'm going to be honest, Zack was lying. They were asking questions. He was like, no. And he was sitting there like it was a job interview. Like he was just all smiles. And I was like, who are you?
Well, I mean,
I was lied in the psych eval, I guess. But, it's fine. We passed.
Okay, to be fair, I didn't lie. But she asked one question that I'm like, we don't have time to get into that.
You didn't tell the truth.
I was like, you don't have enough billable hours for us to deep dive into that, lady.
Our insurance won't cover this, ma'am.
Yeah, we're just going to say no for the sake of it. But...
So if something comes out a little weird, it's because he lied on the psych eval.
all in all, I don't understand why it is the FDA. I don't know who it should be, but food and drug it's not a food or a drug.
I shared that with our surrogate too, and she's also very perplexed by that. And by the way, our surrogate has been the most amazing, supportive. Like I am patient. So grateful for her because she has kind of held our hand through this whole process because, like, obviously we don't know what we're doing. And she hasn't done a surrogacy situation before. She's had her own baby. So just she has been absolutely wonderful. And I probably talk to her at least once a week just to, like, give her an update on where we're at because we're very mindful of, like, we're going through this process, but, like, really this is and it's not just our life that we have to coordinate it. There's 3-4 other people that have to like be involved in this. So she has just been absolutely amazing. But that was one thing that kind of confused her too. The fertility clinic's answer to that was because you're putting something in someone's body that was lab made, that's why the FDA is involved. But the FDA doesn't stand outside of nightclubs every
No,
Saturday
no,
night.
I know, right? And that again, that's. I just feel like it should be under a different organization, and I'm not providing a recommendation of who it should be either. I don't know. I just think that it's very interesting that it's Food and Drug and not a more of a health organization. But that just also might be my naiveness of knowing how broad Food and Drug is.
How do you think you will handle like the first year of parenthood?
Exhausted.
The other day I walked outside, Zach was sitting on our patio, and I was like, hey, so we have a baby. Then what? Like, who's going to take care of it? Who's going to like stay home from...
All things that I have been working through in my head.
What'd you come to?
Well, no, like just having thoughts of these things, and it just hit you the other day.
We'll cross that bridge.
That's why I don't. Yeah, you're not. You haven't come to that phase yet.
No.
Once we get past testing, then we'll cross that bridge for you. But
yeah,
Trey's like, oh, we got to start looking at daycares and nannies and all of that, and I'm like, yeah, we do.
Car seats. Oh,
did you know that car seats expire?
Mm-hmm. I did know that, and I looked up the reason why, and I forgot what it was, but there was a valid reason.
But it's also like 10 years. Or something like that. It's basically just like the technology isn't as new.
Well, I think basically it was saying
could,
like the safety features, like the foam like wears down, like stuff like that. Makes sense. But yeah, that's our baby situation. We should have a positive pregnancy test by Christmas. We've actually already shot our Christmas card, and I've been thinking of ways to still use that photo because it's a really great photo, and I was so proud of us for being so ahead of the game. It's July, and we already have our Christmas card done. Like, that's great. But I think I know how we can still use it because it's a great photo.
Well, good.
Yeah. Well, that's all I've got. Zachary, do you have anything else to say? Do you have any rebuttals of things I've said in the past?
No, I not been dealing with some travel delays yesterday, I would have had a whole list. But
well, thank God.
You know what? I don't feel like this will be the last time I'll be on the pod, so
we'll see. I
can come with my list of grievances next time.
Oh, also, real quick, I'm on a journey to be famous on TikTok. So you follow me on Instagram at Trey_Stewart. You can follow me on TikTok. What's my TikTok name? I don't know. Look me up. I think it's Trey A. Stewart. Follow me on TikTok. You can follow Zachary at...
Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Zack_Luker.
And you can follow our podcast at BS the Podcast.
Bye. Bye.
Yay Media Group.